have some agency. There's so much people can take away, but they can't take away like what is you.
Hi, and welcome to Songwriter Saturday. I'm Alyssa Gatsalis, and today's guest is songwriter, producer, and artist MNEK. Today we talk about his work with Beyonce and executive producing Flow. We get into the importance of having patience, taking ownership over your own agency, and how collaboration is key. Here's our chat. Hi, and welcome to Songwriter Saturday. We're so happy to have you.
Hi, I'm happy to be had. Lovely to meet you, Alyssa.
I did find out that we're both Scorpios.
Let's go.
We're both born on November 9th.
Yes! Oh my God.
Anything you have to say about Scorpios?
The Scorpios get a really bad rap. Like, people like to say that we're just like awful people and that we just equal evil. But it's not true. We like to read the room. We like to get the vibes, and we'll spew all of the positive vibes once we've read what is going on in that room. So actually, we're not all evil. We just are like, we're just all like Raven Simone.
Right. The other signs aren't doing it like us. I want to start off by chatting about how you first signed your first publishing deal when you were 14. How did that start?
I've been writing poems and songs since I was like 8 and 9. And then by the age of 10, I was like learning how to make beats and program and things like that. And so by the time I was 14, I was making demos, and then I started a MySpace to put them onto. And then I was getting approached by all these publishers. And I remember this guy, he'd seen me on MySpace, was a fan, and offered to help out as far as like kind of managing. He basically just said, you should start out as a writer producer first before you start singing. And I was like, you know what? You're probably right, because at the time I wasn't ready to come out with any of my own stuff. Even though the demos I'd given were of me singing and me being the artist, I wasn't there yet. And everyone else could see that my strongest point was like making a song. And so it was about sharpening that knife and getting all those experiences.
One song that has been just on replay in my head continuously the past like 2-3 weeks is Cardboard Box by Flow. I know you executive produced their EP, The Lead. So I want to hear more about your relationship with them and how you got into executive producing with them.
I met the guy who basically founded the group, you know, and he came to me, he was like, I want to make a girl group. And I was like, all right, cool, let's see how that goes. And then he showed, a week later, maybe 2 weeks later, he shows me Renee, Stella, and Georgia in this video together singing. And I was like, okay, I see it. And then we worked together and we connected. And in our third session is when we'd written Cardboard Box. And I remember just coming out and just saying, I just want to write a chorus that everyone just fucking sings along with, you know, and they just know it. I'd program in some guitar chords, and we'd had some verse melodies, and we'd put those in, and then we were just singing, and then I just come out and I just say, I'ma put your shit in a cardboard box. And then one of the girls came back and said about changing the locks, and then it was Savannah who came up with the When You Can't Get in Your Heart Gonna Stop, and it was just us gluing this thing together. Writing it was such a joy, but there was always a lot of fear because of the song it was, you know, just giving it its best shot. Like, when is it, you know, we had it in the archives for the better part of 3 years until it actually came out. And so the girls trusted their intuition and they wanted to release it. They fought tooth and nail for it. And it really paid off because it's gotten all these people talking about them. So I'm incredibly proud of them, and I love working on their music because it's the kind of music that I would listen to anyway, even if I wasn't working on it.
So I know you worked with BTS on Paradise. Curious about that backstory.
I had been in a relationship with someone for a while, and I'd written this song about them talking shit about me on the social medias. And I was just like, keep my name out your mouth was the name of the song, and I'd written it with Low File. And so it was just this record that I just wrote really just to express myself and express my feelings. Never had any intention of really putting it out or anything, but it was just there. Then I hear BTS want the record, and I'm thinking, oh, do they really want to sing these lyrics and all the stuff that I was like chatting about this ex? And they didn't at all. You know, they took the melodies, they took the harmony, they took the vocal production, and they wrote this really poignant song, like about like self-help and about just togetherness. Like, it's such a warm message, that the song of like, that is the polar opposite to what I came in with. Lyrically, even if melodically it's identical, you know what I mean? But now this song holds a different weight. Instead of just helping me get through something, it helped so many other people. And that song, I know like the love I've received from their fans for that song has been immense. They've been so like supportive and kind, and telling me how much it saved them from really dark times in their lives. And I didn't come up with the lyrics. That's the funny thing. I just came up with the melodic substance, but I was able to contribute in some way, a story being told or like something that just helps someone. So I really think that's dope. My music can do that, especially in a different language.
You know, the song Never Forget You with Zara Larsson, she also said that working with you from like the artist point of view is that there's no bad ideas when you're in a session with MNEK. Is that your motto that you always bring into the studio?
I guess so. I mean, I feel like that's the place to make any suggestions or any weird noises, because that could really be something special, you know? I'm always open to hearing someone's idea, and also, even if they have an idea that I'm not crazy about, trying to see where they're coming from at the very least, and then somehow getting there. I'm all about helping people get their message across through these songs. Or, you know, in the case of Zara, for instance, like that was her first song she'd ever written. And, you know, English isn't her first language. So like, I remember when we were writing it, it was just so funny because she was like, I've never written before, I'm so scared. But she did it, and it just worked, you know, it was real, and It'll Never Forget You. It's a song that we both love so much as our child together. I still see her now, and like that song built such a beautiful friendship from doing the promo of the song together and just spending numerous amounts of time together. Like like it's both of our like biggest hits. So, and also just the fact that it was like a fight to get there, a fight to get released. And then when it actually did release, it was like, okay, now we can breathe a sigh of relief.
Hold Up by Beyonce is one of my favorite songs ever. This is a couple questions just for me personally.
Period. Let's do it.
Number one, how is it like working with Beyonce? How did that collaboration process come about? Is there anything that you learned from her in the process?
So that collaboration came about via John Platt. He had connected us together, and a really amazing A&R executive, fellow Scorpio, selector. And he listened to my music, and he was just like, I want to get you with Beyonce. And I was like, all right. I'm someone who, I believe it when I see it. And I didn't believe it until the very second I saw her. I was up in her house. I saw these security guards. I saw Jay-Z sleeping on the sofa. I went into that studio, and I was like, she ain't coming. Like, all that was happening. I was like, she ain't coming. Like, I'm still gonna be here. And she came in nothing but a white t-shirt and a ponytail and some jeans, and I was like, wow, you're like introducing yourself as Beyonce like I don't know. I don't know who you are. And basically, I went into her studio, and she had all of these papers, like all these like key words. So you watched Lemonade, the visual, right? All them like chapters or like them little breaks. Basically, all them words were scattered around in A4 paper around this room, because she said, these are the topics I'm trying to hit on each track. And so she discussed it with me. She played me the Hold Up chorus. That's all that was there. And so I then went back to London, worked on a few verse and pre-ideas or whatever. And yeah, the bit she liked ended up being the middle eight on the record. The babe is such a shame. Let this good love go to waste. That's it, all that stuff. That ended up, being that part of the record. And it was sick to just like have anything coming from here, coming out of Beyonce's mouth. Cause I was absolutely Destiny's Child stan and Beyonce stan. And like, I lived for that. And so a really cool full circle moment. And it was great to be in and amongst everyone when they were creating the stuff for Lemonade. And, you know, it was a pleasure to meet her, you know, and for her to even be aware of whatever it is I do.
Is it hard for you to come in when pieces of the song are already created and then you have to come in and like fill those gaps? Like what's your angle? Like, how do you approach that?
So I'm kind of in that era right now, as far as like production on songs, you know, like songs being like finished and realizing what it is that is missing about a record to take it over the next line. You know, I've written a lot of songs from the beginning to the end and I love it and I still do it. However, I found myself in positions where, we have the beginning pieces of this record, but we don't know where to take the production. We have the beginning piece of the song, but it needs another section. We have the beginning piece of the song, but it needs this, that, A, B, C, D, F, G. Every part of the record like matters. It's what stays with people for the rest of, you know, time. And so I quite enjoyed the puzzle making like side of it and figuring out, okay, what if it slowed down here? What if it like picked up the pace here? Or what if there was more layers that became a hook? Or all those things are like, that is all songwriting, that's all production, that's all music making. And so I want to go out of the world being just a music maker. I don't think it's even, like, I don't want to be shading songwriter, but like, you know, I love songwriting, I love singing, I love, you know, being a part of the production of a record, the mixing of a record. Like, you know, these are all just parts of the music making puzzle, and I love making music.
You have established a songwriting camp for LGBTQ plus singer songwriters in association with Pride in Music. I guess, why do you think it's important to have, you know, members of the community collaborating together?
I'm all for there being representation in rooms because I feel like queer talent has, you know, has been the backbone of so much like stuff that we experience today. And I think that, you know, it's a shame that there's so many instances where we feel uncomfortable, where we don't feel like we can really be ourselves in sessions. That I wanted to have a moment to encourage, you know, the other side of that, where it's like a safe space where we can talk and be soulful and be real, you know? So that was kind of like where I was coming from with it. And yeah, like I said, I hope to restart again.
And what's one piece of advice that you would have given yourself when you first started?
Well, I used to always say patience. I think that's by the by. Like, you kind of can't go into this impatient. You really can't, because it's a game and it's a long game, and if it's a long game, then it's good. It means that, like, you know, you want this, you know, and you really want this to work, and because when it works, it tastes great. You know, I came in when I was 14, but it wasn't this thing of everything started going the second I jumped into the industry. It was, first of all, I was still in school, and secondly, yeah, I needed to learn on the job. I needed to get a few things wrong and a few things right in order to know what was going on in between all of that. Give yourself some grace, give yourself some time. You don't have to be the biggest thing since sliced bread by 21. So I would say that. And like I was saying before, I think just taking agency, often because I was so young in industry, I just didn't know how to own anything and just be like, oh, like this is what I do. And no one can take it. This is my shit and no one can take that away from me. And I think I would tell my younger self, just have some agency. Like there's so much people can take away, but they can't take away like what is you. Like you love music and it's a pure love. It'll be the purest thing amongst all this shit. It's something I grapple with every day. Management is here, they know. But like, I'm working on it. We're all a work in progress.
Yeah, we're all a work in progress. Well, thank you so much for coming on Songwriter Saturday. You are amazing and this was so much fun.
Thank you for having me, my fellow Scorp.
Yes, fellow Scorpio. I wish we were together.
It's fine, we're together virtually.
Yeah.